Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere fam. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video. And recently, this whole Freaknik documentary Wahala has been, it has really raised my eyebrow. And basically, from this, you can see so many things like showing you that the scriptures are once again completely 100% accurate. When I saw this talk about the documentary unfold, the first thought that I had was, "Give not a woman liberty to cut her brother." This is why the scriptures even goes into this. And really, what you are finding out is that the current degeneracy, the debauchery, the complete wickedness that you see happening to the nigger woman, okay, and to the women of this world currently, it did not, it's not a result of feminism or modern women or whatever, excuse that people out here in the world want to use. Rather, this is just female nature, okay? This is just something that is ingrained in these women, to always be this wicked way. And really, what you had controlling all of that was the law. Okay, when you had strong men, strong fathers, and things like that in the house, that was what was controlling these women to stop them from acting in their, in acting in wickedness. Okay, so this is an article going into basically the backlash that the announcement of this documentary is getting. So this has not even come out. The Freaknik documentary has not even come out, but yet you have so many people sitting out here, speaking against many women, of course, not wanting to be exposed for all the wickedness that they were doing back then. And this was all the way back in 1994, right? That was 30 or so years ago. And that shows you just how, and that shows you, that no matter what generation, no matter what timeline, that women have always been this way, okay? But let's read this. We don't want an expose. Hulu documentary about Atlanta's infamous Freaknik Festival in the 90s sparks panic among Gen Xers over NSFW not safe for work footage coming back to haunt them. So we'll get some words from the documentary and we'll go straight into the scriptures. An upcoming Hulu documentary about Atlanta's 1994 Freaknik Festival has left some Gen Xers terrified about that the NSFW footage of them at the celebration is about to resurface. Variety confirmed last week that a brand new movie about the event entitled Freaknik, The Wildest Party Never Told, is in the works. But the announcement resulted in quite the uproar online. And that's the funny thing. The documentary has not yet come out, only a trailer and an announcement has been made. And yet you have these women clamoring and all over the internet talking about how they don't want this thing to come out. They are going to even go as far as to sue Hulu if they dare to release the documentary. And now you have these different women taking to social media, exposing themselves about, complaining about this documentary about to expose them, and really they're exposing themselves because now people are yeah, and it's ridiculous because now you see people going back through the footage and actually finding these women, these women, okay, and the different things that they were doing during that time that got recorded. But let's continue reading. Many people who attended the rager throughout the 90s are now worried that videos of them doing something risque may pop up in the dark. Freaknik was a yearly party held in Georgia during spring break. It began in 1983 as a small picnic hosted by the DC Metro Club, but by the 90s it has become one of the biggest events in the southern states. And really that's going to the breakdown of Freaknik. And what was that, you had people coming out from all over the US just to celebrate this Freaknik festival, because originally it was started in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, and it was supposed to be a small picnic party over, I forget the exact period, but over the break period of these universities and these colleges, okay, and that is even showing you because now you can have a whole another conversation about the matter about all the manners of wickedness that goes on in these colleges, in these college campuses, and in these universities. You have the fraternity and sorority madness that goes back to paganism, it goes back to the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire and the different, you know, and basically the different you go back to that whole philosophy and school of thought thing, right? But you have all kinds of wickedness going on in these colleges, all kinds of, you know, from the madness they are teaching in these colleges, indoctrinating the students, even to the actions of said students. Okay, I don't really want to go too deep into that right now because I don't have enough information to actually do that. But you can already imagine what goes on in these schools. And now to add on to that, you have, and this was mostly being done by Jake, right? When you find out about the Freaknik festival, if you look into it, it was mostly Jake that was attending, and you had these people coming from all over the country, all over America to attend this festival because they knew that all kinds of wickedness, all kinds of sexual morality, especially from the women, will be going forth. And that's really the reason why you're seeing so much backlash and so many women coming out to try and shut down this documentary from actually happening, because now you're going to be seeing all the wickedness that these women were performing, that these women were doing even all the way back then, which is why the scriptures say. And let's start getting these precepts. Okay, the first one I want to bring out, to find out a woman, to have giving out a woman liberty. Let me get that one first. I forgot another preset too, and I just actually quoted it. Giving out a woman liberty to cut abroad. Yes, that is it. So this is the book of Genesis 25, and you know what? I think I'm going to start from the top because this is the second, not Genesis but Ecclesiasticus, but this is going into the wickedness of a woman. Ecclesiasticus 25 verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Let me jump down a little bit. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 25 verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. And of course, that is speaking about Eve, okay, and how she gave Adam the apple, and that caused sin to be introduced to the world. And we know what the scriptures say about sin, that the wages of sin is death. Ecclesiasticus 25 verse 25, and it reads, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to guard abroad. And this all really starts with with now that you have these women having so much freedom to do as they like, to do as they please. And with that freedom, it comes all kinds of wickedness, all kinds of immorality, okay, fornications and adulteries going forth. This is why you always hear about paternity fraud. You always hear about women cheating on their husbands, right? Every once in a while, the husband is out there working and the woman is sleeping with the mailman, that kind of thing. Yeah, about okay, I already mentioned that one before. But all these Dr. Phil, Maury, Dateline, or other shows like that, where a woman comes in, does a paternity test, and you find out that the man that she's accused of being the father is actually not the father. Once again, paternity fraud. But you get the point, okay? And you see that all this didn't just begin in this generation, okay, or it didn't just start with this generation. Of course, it's very widespread and it has become completely out of control and completely wicked in this generation. But you see it happening even the generations before this one, okay. All these former generations and generations of old doing, and they're doing and partaking in all this wickedness, okay. Because once because I think when you look up what happened during this Freaknik documentary, I hear all kinds of stories twerking on the roadsides, like where that came from. Okay, these women, these women doing all kinds of wickedness in public, things I can't even say on YouTube because this video could get banned. Okay, and that's when you now realize that this is where all the wickedness that you are seeing in this generation, in this time, actually came from. There is a source to all of it, and it's west, and that was where it started from. So let me get another precept, and it's still going to the same thing, giving a woman liberty, right? That should be the apocrypha. There it is. There it is. This is what I was looking for. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 9. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And that's what happened with the women, which is why we see a concerted effort from Esau Edom to get the man as far away from the household as possible and to effeminize the men as much as possible, because without a strong male presence, and I'm not talking about a father right now, because there are a lot of families right now that have a father, but because the father is so weak and useless, completely effeminized, emasculated, metrosexual, you still have this same problem happening in those families. But what if you don't, the important thing is having that strong masculine figure, okay, that strong male figure, and not just any man, but a man of standard that understood, a man of standard and integrity. Okay, doesn't necessarily have to be a part of the street, but at least has to be able to understand, you know, has a little bit of have a little bit of understanding, a little bit of wisdom, and what they do. Okay, which is why you see a lot of fathers, especially the, like I said, the stronger fathers, do not allow their daughters to go out. Okay, to stay out too late, because because this is the kind of result that you can get from it. The woman come, because the woman commits all kinds of wickedness, all kinds of evil when she is out there, man. Basically she's for the streets, and I'm trying my best to try and keep it, as professional as possible without going into all this red pill, MGTOW talk. Okay, I'm using their terminologies, and it's proving difficult. But basically, these women are for, basically, but you find out a lot of these women, especially the so-called black woman, they are for the streets, okay? And because of the lack of fathers in the household, they have now spoiled themselves over much liberty. Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 11. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. And now you know why, you have these modern women so comfortable with having trains run on them, because that was the kind of the situation that was happening during those times as well. Let me just leave it at that. Let me just leave it at that. But anyway, now let me see if I can get some more pieces. But anyway, now you see, okay, what this really is showing you is that the wickedness of a woman, that these women, they have always been, or rather, they've always had this mind state, okay, seeking attention, going into, committing wickedness. Like the scriptures also say this. And I believe that is in the book of either Proverbs or Wisdom of Solomon, that among 1,000 men, right, you see one righteous. Let me get that. Let me see whether I can find that. I'm going to have precept group. Or should be that in the book of Proverbs or the Wisdom of Solomon. Well, yeah, maybe it's in the Apocrypha. It's like I'm trying to find this precept. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I found it. Call Yahweh Sham Yahushai. Ecclesiastes 27. Ecclesiastes 7 verse. Hold on. Ecclesiastes 7 verse. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 7 verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hand has bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I found not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Lo, this only have I found, that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. And basically, what you find out, as even the scripture still goes into that as well, the woman being the weaker vessel is far more susceptible, okay, it's far more, likely to be a victim to the temptation, the lust of the flesh, which is why these women, you see them, which is why whenever something so it's like whenever something goes down, it's always the woman that is the cause of it, right? Whenever some wickedness goes out, then it's always the woman that is the cause of it. Let me just say it like that, okay? They really want to start using the exact terms because you never know what you two can do, right? Whenever any wickedness goes forth, any form of these immoralities, and not just of the sexual nature, right? All kinds of wickedness. This is why you see men running around shooting themselves, right? Shooting themselves to death over this woman that over a single woman, right? This woman will go and cheat on her boyfriend or husband with another man, and then leads to a shootout, and then the two men end up dead. And this is how these women behave, man. Shamelessly and completely wicked, okay? And whenever the recompense, right? The what's what I'm looking for right now, right? The recompense or the accountability comes. Let me just use that word. Then you see these women start to panic because they can't take accountability. I don't want to use all these nectar or NPO comments now, but it's not a t-shirt, and that's why you are seeing so much. Or you will be seeing it as well if this documentary even releases. They are seeing so much backlash against the documentary coming out because these women don't want to be exposed for how wicked they truly are. So with that individual right there, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Rakak Wadash, Wa Abad Papal, and through the Spirit help you actually are by edified. Shalom.